All right. Good morning, boys and girls. This morning we ran out of tacky books, so we're moving on to a new book. And this book, one of our students, we're so super lucky to have one of our students whose grandma is the sister of this author. So this is one of our students' great aunts that wrote this story. So how exciting is that, right? So we're going to read this one. It's called Introducing Sandy Crane. Did you know that this kind of bird is called a crane? This is a crane, and cranes come to Nebraska. Did you know that, kindergarten? Yeah, so we're going to read this story called Introducing Sandy Crane, and it was written and illustrated by Paula Warner. Okay. It's a book that Jed's grandma bought us, and his great aunt wrote it. How cool is that? Yeah, look at how cute this bird is. Introducing Sandy Crane. Here we go. Look at the beautiful illustrations, too. Sandy Crane burst from her eggshell in May, embracing the world on a bright sunny day. Mama and Daddy each beamed with a smile to see their new chick arrive with such style. Up in the north, she grew big and strong. She ate bugs and plants all summer long. The bugs were huge in Wood Buffalo Park, and the days were long from morning till dark. Sandy thought some foods looked awfully icky, but Mama said, "Now don't you be picky. You have to grow as tall as me. We'll soon fly south, and you will see." "What's wrong with my legs?" Sandy cried to her mama. "Oh, Sandy," she said, "you're filled with such drama. Your legs must grow long and grow very fast so you can outrun a fox in the grass. As soon as you're ready, we'll teach you to fly. We'll fly south for the winter, high in the sky." Sandy swam and played in the marsh in the wild. During the summer up north, the weather was mild. She danced with her friends as cranes will do, and all the time she grew and grew. "It's time for your flight lessons," her daddy said. "You need to be ready for what is ahead." As summer wore on at the northern park, the air seemed to change. The cold wind was sharp. Was that a flake of glittery white that fell from the sky and dissolved out of sight? It seemed harder to find big insects now. Mama will need to find food in the south. Sandy could look in her mama's eyes. Her legs were full grown, and that is why. When the young cranes could fly and were ready to go, all the cranes headed south in the sun's golden glow. They flew in a spiral up to the sky, up in the air amazingly high. Stopping overnight as they flew on their way, wildlife ranges were a safe place to stay. Those places and others had food they could eat. At night they could roost and get much needed sleep. Did you know that cranes, they do something called migrate? They start here in Nebraska, and then they fly south for the winter where it's warm. So let's see if it tells us where they end up, okay? The cranes stopped at sunny places in Texas with fun names like Muleshoe, Berzona, and Arnassus. They found food aplenty at different fairs. Sandy loved clams and acorns found there. She and her friends swam in the lake, and on the shore they danced for joy's sake. Daddy explained, "Dancing freely is fine." But in Texas, they like to do dance in a line. Look at those cranes. Aren't they funny? Yeah.
I like the one with the one with his mouth.
He's got his beak open, doesn't he? Maybe he's singing along to the music. Their journey continued for winters they do to a lovely delta in old Mexico. The winter passed and again weather changed. It was time to fly north to the summer range. Soon they would leave for a gathering of cranes where the great Platte River crosses the plains. So off they spiraled up high in the sky. Sandy was ready. She did love to fly. When at last they arrived at the Platte on the plains, they found food and water. For a time they remained. It was easier now than it had been in the past, thanks to those who cared for the wetlands and grass. Though they had to gain weight for the next long flight, they took time to join others and dance in the light. Page. They ate in the fields and slept on the sandbars. Sandy planned to be ready, for the next flight was harsh. So she ate all she could and she exercised too. She did all the stretches and the yoga she knew.
That jumping one is so cool.
It is, isn't it? As Sandy and Mama ate corn one bright day, she spotted white birds across the way. What are those grand birds on the marsh over there? Whooping cranes, Sandy. They are quite rare. We don't see them often, though they've joined us today. They like their own space, I've heard some say. When the cranes had rested and eaten enough, they raised up in a spiral and then they flew off. Back to the north with a few stops on the way, they arrived quite tired, but ready to stay. Mama and Daddy announced to their girl, it's time for you now to go out in the world. You are a young adult and must live on your own because, dear Sandy, you are fully grown. Sandy bade them farewell and left at a prance. With her friends at sunrise, she joined in the dance. And that is the end. Isn't that a great story about Sandhills cranes?
Yeah.
That is awesome. I'm so thankful that Jed's grandma was able to give this book to our class. Isn't that wonderful? Yes, we'll have to write a thank you note to her, won't we?